Hello everybody, Reggie Time here, and this is a follow-on from yesterday's video. Continue reviewing hands I played 20-0 on iPoker over the weekend. We're viewing the replay with the HUD up. I played all of these hands without the HUD. I talked briefly about the reasons for that yesterday. I just briefly recap them today. I think I've been overloading my brain with information that does more harm than good. I used to be really effective for like so many years, like playing on sites that didn't support HUDs and just using population reads and trying to exploit population tendencies. And that's what I've been doing again over the weekend without my HUD running. I've enjoyed playing far more. We got lots and lots of volume in because of that. And yeah, I'm not intending using a HUD going forward. I'm going to keep using tracking software. It's called because it's useful. It's good to track your results. Good to it's just good to use tracking software basically. But I won't be using it at the tables. It'll help me get more volume in. It'll stop me falling out of love with the game. I also haven't been table selecting either. I've just been logging in, getting on the first 6 tables I can, and grinding them until they break. And by heck, I've been enjoying it. So yeah, let's get on with the rest of looking at the rest of these hands from over the weekend. Where were we at here? We were on the Queen 9 off, so we're dropping down to this one now. King 3 of clubs. Min raise from clear VIP in the small blind. We 3-bet the King 3 suited. This could be good, could be terrible. I mean, you could find out if it's good or terrible by going in a solver. Do we 3-bet King 3 suited versus small blind opens? I don't know, but we 3-bet these types of things sometimes, so I don't care. I just did it. He calls. We flop a pair and a flush draw. He checks. We could go either way here. We can bet or we can check back. I think we can bet, call quite comfortably. Maybe even bet and just get it in if we think this guy's aggressive. Or we can just check back and try and improve our hand for free. I actually think I prefer checking here. We do have a little bit of showdown value. And much as whereas we can easily continue versus raises, we don't necessarily want to open the door to a raise. So I bet 1/3 pot like a fucking shit reg. We don't fuck me. That's a raise, isn't it? That's a raise. I mean, I guess we're all in, but we really don't like it. I mean, pair and a flush draw in a 3-bet pot, the money just has to go in, doesn't it? But I don't think we needed to. We've created a situation where we've had to get the 110 big blinds in with bottom pair. Unideal. Villain had us beat with the 8. I mean, what the fuck he's doing, God only knows. God only knows what he's doing, but by fuck did he have the best hand. Nice answer. Nice hand. Moving on to the ace and the 10 offsuit. This looks like it's against the same player. He's now limped the small blind. We've ISO'd from the big. He's called. Flop 3 aces. We bet. He calls. Just go a bit bigger than that, Rich, probably. Turn jack. He checks. We now do use the larger size. Check raises again. Bearing in mind, I will now be aware these are all chronological. That this was the guy who check raised us with the 8-6 previously. So we could make a case here for just jamming for value. Bearing in mind that last time he check raised large, he didn't fold second pair. I elect just a caller. River 6. He's not all in. We just call. We probably should have put the last 4.6 bigs in, but whatever. And he has 2 jacks. So this guy was running hot, it seems. On to the next one. It's Queen. We 3-bet versus. I think I remember this guy. I think he tries to be a reg, but hang on, I'm just going to pause a minute. No, it's not the guy I thought it was. It's somebody else. I thought it was a bad aggressive reg, but this is a different player. Anyways, we've 3-bet them. They've called. We flopped a double gut shot. We can go lots of ways here. We can, I think like 10 jack flops, we can just go all in with a lot of this sort of shit. We can just bet big, we can bet small and then jam, we can check raise, anything's on the table here. We like to go with like a chunky looking bet. He goes all in. We have no choice but call, of course. 2 overcards, double gut shot. In she goes. We do not get there. We're up against another player, just like, yeah, I'm all in, mate. Second pair, why not? I'm all in. I've been overfolding to these cunts for fucking months. I've been massively overfolding to cunts who like raise second pair for a long, long time. Yeah. Yesterday was a new day. It was a new day. It was a new dawn, and all those other things. And I am feeling good, even though we lost that hand. Same player again. We 3-bet. He 4-bets tiny. 0% chance we fold this hand in position to a 4-bet from this guy. We call. Flop ourselves a top pair. He's all in. And we have recently seen him jam second pair in a 3-bet pot over a c-bet. We don't get to fold top pair versus this guy in a 3-bet pot. There's a very good chance he's got a better hand. But top pair, backdoor flush draw, backdoor straight draw. I'm afraid he just has to go in. We do call. We do not improve. We didn't need to improve. Think all the times I've been overfolding these guys. I've had a spell like for the longest, and I mean the longest time now, where I just assumed almost every morsel of post-flop aggression was value. I've gone right down the fucking rabbit hole of falling into like the trap of all the cliches of no one ever bluffs. You know, no one ever like it's always value. People are always nutted, etc. I've had so many. Like we went in a little segue in the last video. What we're 7 minutes into this one. We're going off on one again. We're going off on a little segue. I'll lure you guys in with some like bog standard quick fire hand reviews. And once you're in, I go off on a little segue. We did it last time. We're doing it again this time, and I've already forgotten what the fucking segue was going to be. Let me pause while I think what the segue was going to be. I've remembered what the segue was going to be. Monster under the bed syndrome. I've always had a bit of that, and we all have a little bit of it. And again, as I said, like talked about in yesterday's video, like the some of the negative things that have come with studying. And this like the monster under the bed syndrome hasn't come from studying, because studying should get rid of monster under the bed syndrome when you figure out all the things you're supposed to call with. But because we all like mill around in the same communities, in the same sort of spaces, watching the same content creators, be that on YouTube, on Twitch, or whatever. There's an awful lot of groupthink, bad groupthink going around, which was again something I never used to fall into years ago. I used to like try and stray away from groupthink. I used to use groupthink to figure out, right, how can I exploit population? If population typically think this about a certain line, then I need to find ways to use that line in a different way to like exploit whatever that might be. You know, if like everyone's convinced that river check raises are always the nuts, then find some river check raises that aren't the nuts. That type of thing. And all that's like gone out of my game in the last probably 18 months, just slowly but surely over time, as I've gone more and more towards trying to be a modern style player and doing it really quite badly, to be honest, and getting away from the things that I just do quite well, instinctively well. I think I understand people quite well. I'm a care worker. I'm a respite care worker. And I've got like genuinely like really good people skills in my opinion. I just understand people. I'd say I've probably got like not yeah, like good empathy in terms of I just understand people. I understand what triggers them. I understand what soothes them, and you know, I'm a pretty decent people person, and that definitely translates to poker. If you can get inside like someone's head, not to make them do things you want them to do, but just like understand what they're doing and why they're doing it. Are they doing something because they're scared? Are they doing something because they want to prove they can't be bullied? And you understand what makes people tick as players, etc. And then that all the things I used to do really well, like people say you can't be a field player on the internet. You absolutely can be a field player on the internet, and that's what I used to be really fucking good at. You know, being like a really good field player, just spotting lines, spotting patterns from certain different people, spotting little sizing tells they might have, and then like using them against them. And I've gone away from all of that because, well, theory says this, theory says that. So I've gone away from doing something that I thought I did really well, perhaps as good as anyone else in my limits. And I basically just tossed those skills onto the fucking rubbish, onto the bonfire, and then replaced them with skills that aren't anywhere near as highly polished and not as good as my peers. You know, my peers will study better than me. They will understand ranges better than me, in theory. Um, so yeah, I can't remember how we got into this, but yeah, basically monster under the bed syndrome, and it got worse and worse when my strategy, when I became less and less able to execute my strategy. When I was doing my own strategy, it was really quite basic, quite simple, and it was more based on intuition, and I executed really well. And then my strategy slowly, surely, moved away from intuition and moved more into what does CD want us to do. And where if I was say 80% out of 100 good um, at the intuition field based play, I genuinely think I'm only 10% from 100%, or maybe even 5% of 100%, like good at the theory based side of the game, because theory is fucking huge. Because you've got to look at solvers, it's fucking bonkers. They're asking us to do things we can never comprehend and never compute as a human being. Just too many things. They've got loads of different sizes, post flop at loads of different frequencies on loads of different board textures. Never going to memorize it as a human. Never even going to get close. Most of us will be lucky if we ever get 5% of it mastered. But what it does do, it makes us all far worse players, in my opinion, because we lose a lot of the skills that makes some of us like good at poker to begin with. We lose that intuition. We lose like the empathy we all have as people that helps us pick up on other people's actions and understanding our patterns and why they've done certain things. We lose all that. If we throw all that away because we want to base our plays on theory instead, we lose a lot of feel, a lot of touch, a lot of intuition. And yeah, it's basically it's like trying to have a wank with a fucking oven glove on. You know, it's just you lose if you lose all the sensations that make you good at something. This is should a rather weird analogy. Basically, wanking with your bare hand, pretty nice. Wanking with an oven glove on, not so clever. And it's a bit like that. It's a bit like, not that I've had a wank with an oven glove on, but I imagine that's what it would be like. And you just lose all your sensitivity, all the little things that make the wank with your bare hand good are lost when you wank with your oven glove. And it's the same with this. You know, all the little things you throw away in poker because you want to replace them with theory. Can't believe we've gone down this fucking alleyway. Never mind. Yeah, anyway, you know my point, basically. You know, you throw away a lot of the good stuff, a lot of the stuff that's really based on your, like, little spidey senses, your intuition, your feeling. If you throw away all your feeling and your intuitions and the things that make you good and replace them with something you're not very fucking good at, why on earth is your poker results going to get better? It's nonsense. So anyways, yeah, there's that little segue. Didn't think I'd be talking about wanking with an oven glove on today, but there you go. We have done. I guess that's why some people love me and some people hate me. Right, on to the next one. Ace 10 offsuit. Raise call. We're going to have to start rushing through these because we're 30 minutes in. We've got a lot more hands to get through. We flop trips. We bet. He calls. Flush on the turn. Not that scared of flushes. I mean, obviously, in the big blinds, you're going to have some, but we can't just be scared of flushes. Bet again. Get raised. Now I'm scared of flushes, but we do have a draw to a full house. We call. He jams a river. I think this is just a fold, I imagine. Against this player. I already know. I mean, spoiler alert. We're gonna call and I think we're gonna call and lose. Maybe we do we call and lose, or do we just fold? No, we call and lose. Didn't as much folding in this video. Yeah, that'd been good for him. He had the nuts, but I thought he had a flush, not a full house. On to the next one. We get him in 3-bet. We're just all in, I guess, aren't we? At some point. Call. Check. Yeah, now we just put him. If he's got a better hand, he's playing 73/5. Not playing on Mahud going forward, but we may as well get his colour right anyway. This might look spewy. I think it's perfectly fine. Value / protection / maybe he sometimes folds pocket twos. It might look a bit punty, but I personally think it's fine against a player playing this V-pip. What you don't want to do here is him just have like Jack 10 of fucking clubs, check back, and then have him get there. He might even call with worse hands. If he's got 10-9 here, he might call. Well, he will call probably. We're doing just fine against all one pair hands. You know, we if he's got one pair, we've still got 25% equity, and then this gives us probably enough fold equity to make up for it. I don't know. It might look a bit punty, but I think it's fine against this particular villain type, who is going to get to this flop with a lot of no pairs, and we just want to deny equity to his no pairs. Anyway, this time he does call. We get there on the 8 on the river, and he did. Look, he called us with king high on the flop, justifying my what looked like a punt. Queen jack off suit, mini limpers, we complete, flop trips, la di da, bet, check raise. It's fine, I suppose. Oh, right. So this guy just has pocket sixes or a jack. You would imagine. No bluffs available to him, really. Just call, I guess. Call again. When we're not folding, but what bluffs does he really have? Probably not many. But we have 3 jacks in a limped pot against someone who's clearly recreational. I mean, maybe we just fold this. There's no bluffs available on the flop. Some bluffs present themselves on the turn, but we block them with the Queen of Spades. Not that I want to get into that shit very too much. And then a 4 comes up. There's just no bluffs available to this guy. But I think we should probably fold here. But he might have Jack 10. He might have Jack 9. So because we beat value, I guess we have to call. But it's an unhappy spot. We do call. And I guess that's where we have to call, because maybe he has Jack 4 suited, he has Jack 5 suited too. Does he check them back on the river? Does he only value bet when he makes a full house? Who knows? But yeah, whatever. Good for him. Opening the queens, getting called, flopping well, big bet, get raised, 3-bet I imagine. Yep, against a recreational player. He calls. Turn break, bet big, I guess. Maybe even go all in. We go big. He calls. River 10. Deeply unhappy about the situation, but the pot's fucking huge. I suppose. What do I suppose? And we're not folding. If he jams now, we're not folding. I suppose checking allows him to bluff, even though he should know he's got no fold equity. But jamming just doesn't let him check back an 8. Yeah, I should just jam here. Don't like the check. But we did let him bluff, so yeah. Okay, but I don't like the check. Just because we won doesn't mean I'm going to like it. Queens again. Post and a raise. 3-bet. Call. C-bet. Call. Okay. Ace on the turn. He shouldn't have much ace X here, really. He's posted, then he's posted, he's raised. Then we bet it 14, then he's called. Then we C-bet big. So theoretically, we should fold out a lot of his ace X on the flop. Maybe we don't. Maybe we don't. Maybe he doesn't give a fuck, and he still just calls with the ace whatever on the flop. But I'm not as concerned about the ace. I mean, if the flop was an ace, I'd be very concerned. I'm not as concerned the turn's an ace, but it's how to proceed. I think probably mostly checking. Check, check. And then now do we have a value bet on the river? do we just bet like 16 bigs here just to get called by 4x, pocket sevens, pocket threes? Yeah, I think it's like check or block. I think we won't be check. He bets half pot. We can't fold. We call, and he had the misdraw. Happy days. I remember this hand from yesterday. This guy is, yeah, he's a fish. He plays regularly. His stats are super terrible pre like 33-7. I'm very, very familiar with this player. No, he's not a bad reg. He might play regularly. He might play more than one table, but he's just a fish. We call flop a pair. He leads really fucking big. We don't love the situation, but we do have a pair and some backdoors, so we can't fold. We get a really nice turn card in that we now have a legitimate flush draw and a gut shot. He now checks. And I think at this point, against this player, I'm very confident. He doesn't have... I think he just continues betting over pairs here. I think if he has like queens, kings, aces, maybe even jacks, he continues betting. He's not sophisticated. He's not the sort of player who'll be like, all right, okay, this board's really bad for my range, therefore I need to check everything. He's not that guy. If he had a strong handy, he would bet. But, you know, like we want to bet here now. It's a little bit of value from like ace king, maybe, but probably not. But just like we don't want to just allow him to realize equity, ace king, ace queen, ace jack, that type of thing. We just don't want him to realize. So I think we just have a bet. Yeah, if he is checking over pairs to check shove this turn, then we've kind of just painted ourselves into a corner. But we got so much equity, we just have a trivial call. He calls. River is a brick. And now he went all in. I remember this hand well. And I snapped his cock off here because I just did not believe this guy had a value hand that he would play this way. I didn't know what he had, but I didn't believe he had value. It's just such a nonsense bullshit line. So I called incredibly quickly here. And he did just have that hand, and it's like such a bad line from him, in my opinion. I mean, he could just continue betting the turn. He's got that much equity. He can check shove the turn. Yeah, but you know, we know he's not a good player, so probably shouldn't expect good lines from him. King Queen suited. We ISO a limper. We pick up two callers. We flop an open ender. Call, raise, do whatever you want. Tons of equity. Raise this time. He calls. Turn the nuts. He bets. Definitely should be raising now. Wow, why have I gone so small here? I guess I just wanted to reopen the betting to give him a chance to like 3-bet maybe. 52 in the pot. He calls another 961. Leaves a pot size bet, but yeah, I think this raise maybe should be a little bit bigger. I guess I just want to like reopen the betting, just continue building the pot against him. Yeah, I think we could have gone a little bit bigger there. Not massively bigger. You know, we don't want him to fold much. Anyways, he 3-bets. Remember this hand, it's dick around time now. So we click it back because I do enjoy dicking around with fish sometimes. He calls. So we could have potentially lost our customer here. Then he bets one blind on the river. We put the rest in, he calls, and whatever. Just a bit of nonsense. He had two pairs. Just a little bit of random nonsense. 9-7 suited. We call a... this is the same play from earlier, I think. You had to check who they were. Or is it a different play? I don't know. Anyways, we call the 9-7. We flop the absolute nizzles. We go with the check raise. He 3-bets us. This is just... He's probably never going to fold. I guess we can just go all in here. Don't think I like calling. and that because that's lots of action killers. We 3-bet non all in because that's apparently what we've been doing over the weekend. He goes all in, now we call. And yeah, he had top pair that he's willing to put 70 odd blinds in with. King 10 off, cut off open, c-bet flop, min raise. Aha, this one, I remember this one now. I watched a video late last week from some Brazilian guy. He's on YouTube, Sol or something or other. And the video was about one of his like favorite lines is gets raised by a fish and then just heroes them down. So this is in honor of that, I guess. We've been min raised. In the past, I'd be scared here, but I watched that video last week and he's just like, yeah, just call. It doesn't matter what the run out is. I get min raised by a fish and then just call down because the raising ranges are so shit, apparently. I can't remember exactly what his reasons were, but yeah, that's what we're going to do here. So we check, he bets, we call, we check, he bets all of it. I snap called, and yeah, our friend had jacks. Yeah, that guy, he's a Brazilian guy. He's all about the exploits. He talks a bit too fast. I'm not sure. No, it doesn't matter. Doesn't matter. But I won't be watching many of his videos. Ace 4 suited. We open the button. We get 3-bet by a reggish looking player in the big blind, small blind. We call. They check. We check back. Turn a flush draw. He bets. We call. River the nuts. He checks. I bet. He calls. Okay. Already dull. King 9. Queen, queen. We raise. Get flatted on the button by a recreational passive player who looks aggressive post flop. I wouldn't have had these stats, of course. We bet. He calls. I guess we start checking some here. Not in my world, we don't. He calls again. Actually, let's go back and talk about that turn a little bit, actually. Because I was thinking to myself then, why are we checking that turn? That's just like the old, like, theory thing coming out. Oh, that's a pretty bad board for my range. That's a pretty good board for buttons, range, etc. And those things are true. But we're playing against a fish. So fuck all that and just keep value betting. So yeah, actually, I need to get myself out of those ways of thinking that I've been experiencing. If the guy's got us beat here, there's 33 bigs behind, 17 in the pot. If he's got us beat, he's got us beat. Tough shit. Just fucking bet your money, Reg. So yeah, I like the bet now, actually. Even though in theory we'd probably want to be doing a lot of checking, I actually like the bet. I don't like that river. That's what I don't like. But there's 18 bigs behind, so I guess we may as well just put it in ourselves. I mean, if he's got a flush, he's never folding, but he might just call with a 9. At this point, yeah, the pot's just too big for us to do anything. I mean, guess we could check and maybe just try and go check, but yeah, we're not check folding, so we may as well just put it in ourselves, I guess, and like make sure we get the max value from his 9x for the times that we do win the pot. Yeah, the ace jack off, and that's why betting the turn's good. A little bit of three-handed play here against a reg. We 3-bet the ace 10 off for the big blind. He calls. We flop a gut shot. We c-bet. Pretty big, reasonable enough, I think. He calls. Turn is an 8. I wouldn't be surprised to see me keep the pressure on here and bet again. That's reasonable to do that. He's going to have some strong hands. He's going to have some King X that isn't folding. He's going to have some Queen X that maybe needs to start folding now. His pocket jacks, his pocket tens, his pocket nines all need to start folding now to a second barrel. And we do have some equity if we get called. We have got a nut draw. I do bet again. He does call. We river ourselves top pair. And we've got like half pot left. No idea. Literally no idea what we should do here. I guess if we check, he's just going to check back all the hands that we beat and value bet all the hands that we don't beat. I don't think he's going to have many bluffs here. Do we just check and try and get to showdown? Or do we just fucking value jam? Well, not value jam. Well, yeah, I guess it's a value jam. I think we can just probably just check here and just check fold. Now let's see what I did. I did check. Yeah, I think this should just be a fold. I mean, what do we beat? I think every single one of these hands went to showdown, so I'm pretty sure that. Oh, sorry. Every hand that I didn't make them fold with went to showdown. So I know I'm going to call here, but I don't think I like it. Wow. That is quite the turn call. That is quite the fucking turn call. Right, 3 more hands to go. Picking up the aces. Everyone calls. Bet big, Reg. Good lad. Call, call, fold. And now there's no money behind, so it doesn't matter. All in. Yeah, whatever. 9-4. Happy days. Picking up the aces again, raise. 3-bet. Aha! Yes, I remember this one too. This guy is one of the few red tags. And I don't think it's because he's not red tag because I think he's like really good. But you can see by his stats, he's like definitely on the more aggressive side as a regular. He definitely like does his fair share of 3-betting from the blinds versus steals. As you can see here, versus button open from the small blind, he's 3-betting 12%. Versus cut off, he's not doing it as much. But generally speaking, I got the impression that he was just like very active from the blinds. And this, I guess, is like one up for not having my hood running, because it had I had my hood running, I would have looked at this and been like, oh right, oh shit, well, from the small blind versus cut off, he's only doing it 5%. So therefore, he only has really strong value hands. Blah blah blah. And my strategy would have changed. But because I was under the impression, because I had my stats available to me, I was like, this guy's really fucking active. I want to start having some traps against him for when he does his like 3-bet C-bet thing. So I elected to flat this one this time with the intention of just raising any flop on most flops. He does C-bet pretty big. We put the raise in. He goes all in. So I mean, as it happens, this one was just a cool one. We could have got all the money pre maybe. Against queens. Well, maybe he just folds queens at some point to the 4-bet. Probably not. No, he doesn't, does he? Showbridge, you fucking fat idiot. Last hand of the video. We have 2 kings. We had a 4x from under the gun. This guy had posted, but that's where I'll be 4xing. Same building as the last hand. We squeeze to 17 big blinds. He folds. This player calls. We get a queen. Bet big, Reg. Good lad. He goes all in. We call. And he gets there with the flush. So there we go. So that's all the hands from the weekend that I played that were basically around 100 big blind pots. Thereabouts. And yeah, I hope you guys. I mean, don't get me wrong. There's not been some cutting edge content. I guess some people just like watching my stuff because they just like watching it. And for those of you guys, I am eternally grateful. Genuinely, I only do this as an old man's fucking hobby. So it genuinely like makes me pleased if I think this. Even this is only, like if each video gets 200 views and only 5% off whatever reach the end, because they enjoy it. I really like that. Like, cause I haven't got anything to sell. I'm not shilling anything anymore. I'm not selling anything anymore. I'm just doing this because I just enjoy doing it. And I know there's certain people out there who enjoy watching the content. So if I can just bring a little bit of pleasure to to 5 in 100 people who watch these videos, and then the other 95 people in 100 within 2 minutes, like fucking hell, this old man's a boring cunt. Then yeah, I'm going to keep doing them because I enjoy it. So I hope you guys did enjoy it that reached this stage. If you have reached this stage, you haven't hit the like button yet, please do. leave a comment too, because I always like reading the comments, and I usually reply to them. Almost always reply to comments unless they're just something toxic, and they typically get deleted. But yeah, I don't know when the next video is going to be. Probably Wednesday, I guess, because now I've done a Monday and a Tuesday. But this is Monday morning. I'm recording this. I've already got a Monday and a Tuesday video. I'm intending to play quite a bit of poker, so maybe we'll have enough hands to review on a Wednesday morning for a Wednesday and Thursday video. Who knows? We'll have to beat Trump if anyone heard it. But yeah, we're going to leave it there. As always, fuck the Tories and all who support them. Oh man, that's fucking smelly. Jesus, better go for a shit. Right, yeah, anyway, fuck the Tories, everyone who supports them, and we'll see you on the next video. Take care, everybody, and bye-bye for now.